So the next thing I want to talk about is a conversation that I had with my Lyft driver. I was in a Lyft going from my house, or my parents' house rather, back to my apartment. And this was a few weeks ago before the holiday time. And I wrote an Instagram post about it. I felt the need to write something about what happened, and to set this up, the man who was driving me home, we had a long conversation for about an hour and a half. Really exciting, learned a lot about him. His name is DARRYL. And one of the things that he told me is that he's never going to fly. He hates flying. He has an intense fear of flying, and that he's never going to fly. His family's try to get him to fly. He plans on going on an RV trip across the country because he has never been on a plane except once when he was on a grade school trip and he walked inside a plane, but he's never flown. He's also a huge Cowboys fan, which will be relevant. And yeah, so I had this conversation and he told me he'd never fly, and then the conversation continued. And so I wrote a little bit about the conversation on an Instagram post, which you can see at Auxoro, and it's called On Flying. On Flying. I had a conversation with a guy named DARRYL who picked me up in a Lyft. He took me from my parents' house in Long Island back to Brooklyn, about a 90-minute ride with traffic. Normally I take the train, but I had some hefty luggage with me and I felt like treating myself. DARRYL and I spoke about his job as an accountant. We spoke about football, race, snowboarding, and I enjoyed the engaging ramble of conversation. At one point, DARRYL said to me, "I've never been on a plane. I've been on a plane for a middle school field trip, but I've never flown on a plane." Wow, you've never flown? No, I'm scared, he said. My cousins joke about slipping something in my drink and stuffing me unconscious on a plane to wake up on a beach somewhere, but I'm on to them. So I said to DARRYL, "Okay, so you never get on a plane." "Never," he said. And I was like, "DARRYL, you told me 10 minutes ago that you've been a Cowboys fan since you were a kid and that you're even planning a cross-country trip for the main reason of seeing the Cowboys play at home in Dallas." "Yeah, that's right," he said. "Well, what if Tony Romo called you today and he said, 'Hey, DARRYL, it's Tony Romo. Listen, I'm going to fly you out on a private jet from New York to Dallas. And it'll be with me and the current Cowboys team as passengers on the plane. So DARRYL, Tony Romo is going to fly you out private from New York to Dallas. There's going to be whiskey, cigars, smoking hot stewardesses, everything on the private jet. And listen, when Tony Romo lands, he says, me and you are going to watch the Cowboys play from the 50-yard line. Would you, if that happened to you, DARRYL," I asked him, if Tony Romo flew you out private, everything, all the works, and you get to watch the Cowboys play on the 50-yard line, but you have to get on the plane from New York to Dallas. So would you do that?" DARRYL smirked and looked back at me through the rear view mirror and said, "I'd have to think about it."